Boas malta, sejam muito bem-vindos a mais um vídeo no canal. Hoje temos um vídeo um pouco diferente do que é habitual, do que eu vos trago. Estamos na showcase número 2 do Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts... e esta banda sonora, velho! Estava eu a dizer que Hogwarts Legacy, que hoje, 14 de dezembro de 2022... foi adiado, mas foi adiado em parte. Digo isto porque os senhores da Avalanche e de não sei quem, acho que não estou a incorrer em... Eu não procurei muito bem as minhas fontes, mas eu vi. PS4 e Xbox da última geração, da geração passada, foram adiados. Em parte concordo. Acho que se eles precisam de mais tempo... foi adiado tipo de fevereiro para abril, portanto não... A espera não vai ser assim tão longa, sabendo que a versão da Switch também só estava programada para julho. Portanto, estes meses a mais que eles vão ter, acho que vai ser tempo suficiente para deixar o jogo a correr nas melhores condições possíveis nas consolas da geração passada. Eu não sei o que é que vos hei de dizer mais. Estamos aqui à espera, não é? 3 minutos. Este vídeo foi-me sugerido pelo meu amigo camarada Hugo Capela. Desde já muito obrigado, Hugo. Que está neste momento sentado a ver e à espera, muito provavelmente a dizer assim: uau, que banda sonora tão incrível. Isto parece mesmo Hogwarts. É um dos meus jogos mais aguardados dos últimos tempos. No primeiro showcase eu sei que não fiz isto, né? Estou a fazer pela primeira vez, mas o primeiro showcase deixou-me com algumas reservas e também me deixou entusiasmado para algumas coisas. Vamos ver o que é que vai surgir daqui. Grandes expectativas para hoje, E agora é só ligar o 360? Não vou... É um trabalho difícil, não é? A malta que faz essas vendas está ali a falar durante 5 minutos sem nada para dizer, sem zero conteúdo, não é verdade? E aqui estou eu a fazer exatamente o mesmo. Em prol de vocês, para vosso gáudio, que me veem a falhar miseravelmente. Eu se calhar vou cortar isto, não sei, acho que já falei demais. Até já, volto já. Daqui a 1 minuto e 40. Ora, estamos prontos? Estamos prontos ou não estamos prontos? Vão ser 30 segundos até aos novos reveals. Eu não mal posso esperar para ter as minhas mãos neste jogo, velho. Por isso, liga agora. Se queres ter a oportunidade de ganhar 360, 400, 420. 15 segundos. 15 segundos. 13, 12, 10, 10. Opa! Olá. Temos isto na definição mais alta ou não temos? Temos. E também temos legendas, mas já em árabe não. Eita, calma lá. Em inglês, pode ser em inglês. Estava muito alto para mim, para você está ótimo. Ok, tá, vamos deixar assim. Portanto vamos ter provavelmente... É sempre chato porque não dá para ter a qualidade toda do vídeo no YouTube e este vídeo já é comprimido, o meu vídeo vai ser compresso, a qualidade não vai ser a melhor, certamente, mas vai dar para ter uma ideia do que se vai passar neste jogo. Portanto, um ciclo dia e noite, dinâmico e tal, já estão... Olá. Eu devia ter legendas, não era? És Gryffindor... és Slytherin. Olá, amigo. Temos legendas em português? Temos legendas em português do Brasil.
And systems designer Mackenzie Toner.
Hi.
And finally, just off-screen capturing gameplay for us, Andrew Corum.
Olá, Andrew.
Today we'll be giving you a taste of the open world via Broom Flight,
Ok.
combat using the Dark Arts Battle Arena, and a look at your personalizable home within Hogwarts, the Room of Requirement.
Três
where
coisas,
we
não é?
can even see some beasts. And we're starting right where we left off in our last gameplay showcase, just outside Hogwarts, which I love that you can walk out of the castle after walking through everything and then just come out here and take off on your broom out into the open world. And Alan, I know that's something that
Work
you
in progress,
particularly
ali em
like
baixo,
about
né?
Hogwarts Legacy too.
Minimapa.
I'm a
Ei,
big
que é
fan
isto,
of
velho?
just
Que é
being
isto?
able
Sai
to
da
hop
frente.
on the broom and go anywhere. There's something about kind of like the sensation of everything being open to you, and just I love the proximity that I can get to things.
Montamos
I
a
love
vassoura e
flying
lá
close to the
vamos
ground.
nós.
And I kind of wanted to talk about it just because I feel like you know, the brooms are fun for me, not just because of all those feelings of exhilaration, but because they're not just I have a broom and it's done. I actually kind of like some of the mechanics in it. So you see in the lower right there's a meter there, and occasionally as Andrew's kind of flying up or flying down, you might notice it draining or not. And this isn't the present day where all the broom technology is well known and advanced and everything that we know and love. This is an earlier time where they're still trying to figure out, you know, we're not at the 3000 yet. We're at the 11. So.
Oh my goodness, I'm just so speechless right
Okay.
now because this is just so beautiful. The world just looks so.
É
But,
verdade,
like,
sim.
the broom, is that like the only one, or can you like upgrade that broom to go faster?
Yeah, so we have
Yes, yeah. Foi assim um bocado.
and so that sells a variety of different brooms. And it was important
Okay.
to us that the player could customize themselves based on their own aesthetic. So they're purely cosmetic, but if you talk to the shopkeep and help him out, he'll actually sell upgrades.
Yeah, and those upgrades will make it so that where normally the broom you can only fly, you can only go at max speed. It's kind of like a turbo meter down there. You can only go at max speed without the meter going down, kind of closer to the ground. And as you raise into the air,
Mano, isto é
you'll notice the
incrível.
meter
O
drop.
mapa é
So
enorme.
those upgrades will allow you to increase that distance from the ground. And the broom owner at the
Pessoinhas
sporting
ali a
store
passar em baixo.
in Hogsmeade is trying to perfect the broom and get better
Outra
at it.
pessoinha,
and
outra
know it better, and you
pessoinha.
can participate that and get better and better brooms through that.
And I love that mechanic encourages you to actually explore the world and kind of stay close to the ground. It's not just a travel mechanic, point A to point B. You're not just flying high over everything, although it is beautiful, something I really love doing, but as well there's lots to explore on the ground, and so kind of keeping you down at the ground
And
level.
to me, it
Eles
feels
estão a
like it's got
mostrar
this kind of
muito mais do que
surfing
mostraram
vibe
no
over the-
primeiro.
Oh my God, like, I'm
Showcase.
just like I want to snatch the controller from
Natural,
Andrew right now,
né?
because I want to go to the mountaintop.
O jogo está-se aí a aproximar.
I don't know. That's how it's called. I think that's what it is.
No, it's awesome. We're actually gonna land here, and I feel like that you call it a hamlet is just perfect, just because that's what we refer to it as. And so we all know from lore that Hogsmeade is the only all wizarding village within Britain. But we wanted other opportunities to kind of meet other characters out here and to kind of populate the landscape, so it's not just kind of, you know, barren as you leave out this direction and that.
É uma trompa de
And
Nossa
so you
Senhora.
just imagine these different dwellings, these different smaller locations that wizards might live in out in the Scottish Highlands. And so it's those. And
Olha,
so
10
we refer to
galleons
those as
ali para o
hamlets,
menino.
and they're opportunities to learn those wizard stories, how those different locations have kind of like learned to live, what their relationships are with characters at Hogsmeade and Hogwarts. And so they're both quest opportunities out here and a chance to kind of get to know more of the area, even beyond Hogwarts and Hogsmeade that we've already experienced. And you'll also notice on the mini-map like lots of little icons.
Sim.
And each one of those represent gameplay in the hamlets that you can participate in, you know, whether it's a vendor or different puzzles and challenges or different secrets that exist. Each one of those icons are different opportunities for gameplay. And you'll notice that same thing as we venture out into the open world as well. So when you go out into the open world and you see those icons, whether they're on the mini map or on your map or off in the distance, those things are opportunities to say, like, I want to increase my inventory capacity. They're puzzles left behind by old wizards, you know, that you can solve that actually grant you those. If you see ruins off in the distance and you visit them, you might find opportunities to actually expand and learn about your ancient magic. And
Essa
as
magia
you-
ancestral
and
que
as
acho
you
que é
kind of
uma
encounter
parte
different enemies
bastante
dotted on the landscape, sometimes
importante
those
no jogo.
characters, poachers or dark wizards might be hoarding different
Olha, então e
magical
pegas
resources
assim no
that are
mid e
valuable to
bebes?
you as you're playing the game. So each one has kind of like a way to connect to our gameplay loops and provide different
Muitos
opportunities
objetos a
that
serem
reward
highlighted,
you for
portanto
poking
poderemos
around.
interagir com
I mean,
eles.
right away, when I want to just cover all of those points on the map just by going over there.
Well, we've flown on a broom already, but there is something that we haven't done so far, and that is getting on our flying mount.
Boa.
Hop on our Onyx Hippogriff here. The Onyx Hippogriff is our pre-order bonus.
Oh my god,
Oh.
that just like pops out of the the back. Oh wait, you can use it as a horsey? I mean a horse. I mean that is a horse.
Mano, tão bonito.
As a hippogriff, you can totally ride it like a ground mount, and you can lift off into the air.
Bro!
And we tried to make sure that each of those interactions, so the broom's really good at reaching that top speed, at kind of traveling the world as quickly as possible. But sometimes it's really nice to get on the hippogriff because of that ground speed or those transitions. And sometimes it just feels amazing just to be riding around on a hippogriff.
Look at it.
Yeah, it really is kind of like I don't know. It's a great feeling being on it, and it's a great feeling managing those
E bater
transitions,
nas
kind of
coisas, não?
from run to fly, and just being able to
Como
go
é que o
wherever
jogo
you
se
want. And we
comporta
try to
se
make
nós
sure that-
batermos contra as
that
árvores? Isso é que
that
era importante
each one of
saber.
these things that you can interact with have a unique identity and a reason for being.
And oh my god, like I see like different like areas, like a swampy area. By the way, can you
Sim,
go
mudou
to like entire
a atmosfera
map where
mudou
you go?
bastante.
There are regions that are like locked from you.
Yeah,
or,
as soon
like-
as you there's kind of a moment where the world kind of opens up to you outside of Hogwarts as a student, and right from that moment, early on in the game, you can go wherever you want. And so you might find more difficult challenges in different
Isso é
areas.
incrível.
And you'll see different spots as Andrew's moving around, like you mentioned the swamp. But there we have got like a coast, and we've got different types of environments out in the world, just to
E
kind of,
mudou outra vez o ambiente.
pepper your experience, reward you for exploring, keep things fresh. All those things exist as we're moving around.
So cool. And I love that windmill. It's like so rustic. Like I keep forgetting that this is like 1800s. The Wizarding World we've never really seen before. Like it feels so authentic. Like it just, it's part of it.
Yeah, I love this vista too, and I'm gonna have Andrew stop here.
Ah, não,
for use
olha
a
o
bit of
scope deste
dev
mundo, isto é
magic
gigante.
to, change the seasons. Actually, I want you to see what this world looks like, covered in snow.
Yes, 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 please. I love snow.
That's all I want.
Long wavy.
Olha que engraçadinhos que eles são. São mesmo engraçadinhos vocês.
Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. This is so pretty. Okay, it looks
Chill,
so
chill, bro.
realistic.
Chill,
Oh
chill.
my god, it changes the landscape like completely.
Eu estou entusiasmado,
Oh my
mas
God. Does
calma,
it have like
contigo.
actual like gameplay impact, like impact on the gameplay, or does it like it's just the weather of Scotland?
Yeah, we really use it as a narrative marker through the game. So as
Ah.
you're progressing through your main storyline, it was important
Okay.
for us to kind of like have those moments that kind of felt like when you're reading the books or watching the movies where, you know,
E o
you see
tempo
kind of
passa,
the kind of time of
exatamente.
winter and
Isso é
now
importante,
the landscape
ok.
has changed and you're really feeling that passage of time while you're a student, you know, going through your year at
Right.
Hogwarts. And I think we wanted to
Estes
duplicate that,
balõezinhos
and
é
for me it's
para
really
a
fun that it's
vassoura
not just
ou
on the
pode ser com o
outside,
hipogrifo?
which I agree. I think it looks really beautiful. But within the school as well. So there are moments like when it reaches certain holidays or things like that, where Hogsmeade
Oh
reacts
my
to
God.
holidays and the school reacts to holidays, and you see the decorations around those
No
environments
minimapa temos ali coisinhas
that really
vermelhas,
help just kind of
provavelmente inimigos, não é?
Right.
and it's not just you know, for the seasons, those kind of vibe things. Like we have a day-night cycle, and that day-night cycle, even though similarly,
Outro
like it's
inimigo
largely
ali.
about vibe, when you go into Hogsmeade in the evening, there's less.
Mano,
characters
estás a andar
there.
super
Around
rápido
school, you
nas,
notice it kind of dies down and quiets
no
down.
meio da floresta,
And
vais
it's
bater.
just candlelight and students kind of like as you're walking through the halls. But in that day-night cycle is where we've kind of placed a few items where, you know, whether or not you can collect them or whether or not you can interact with them that are a little bit restricted by the day-night cycle.
And I love Andrew's flying up here, really high up on the hippogriff, and we're just looking
Hogwarts
at
lá ao
this
longe,
view of
já.
Hogwarts in the distance. It's just
Ei.
absolutely beautiful. It's part of what I love most about flying around in this game, whether it's on a hippogriff or on the broom.
Mano, e se isto
No,
for tudo
I mean, you talk about
explorável,
going anywhere and things that you can see in the distance, and that's one of my.
claro que não vai ser
still
tudo
can't get
explorável.
over, like, no matter, I played this
Vai
so
haver
much,
muitas
but
dead
I
zones,
still can't get
provavelmente.
over the fact that I can see Hogwarts out there, and there's just something beautiful about knowing that all of the things inside of it, the classrooms, the students, the professors, all the places I can go, I can just.
Eles no
fly
último
my
showcase
hippogriff,
mostraram
land
bocado
in the
do
courtyard,
do castelo
enter the front
e já era
doors,
enorme.
and just walk, you know,
E isto é
table
só
right
uma
over to
parte do
classrooms,
mundo
to my
aberto
house,
fora
to
do
my
castelo.
common room, that it's all contiguous and just kind of like one space is still exciting to me after all this.
I mean, I'm
Já
just,
apareceu a
just
Tool Wheel
I'm speechless
várias
right
vezes.
now.
O que é que a
Just
Tool Wheel
absolutely
faz?
beautiful. It's just, oh my God.
Let's as much as we want to spend a lot more time out here just flying around, experiencing the world, I think this is a great opportunity to switch over to combat. And last time we gave you kind of an intro to combat. This time we're going to really
Sim.
go a lot more of a deep dive on using the Dark Arts Battle Arena, which is part of our deluxe edition. All right, Andrew's got us in the Forbidden Forest, which is where the Dark Arts Battle Arena is, which is part of the Deluxe and Digital Deluxe Edition. I love the way that the Dark Arts Battle Arena is actually part of the world. It's integrated into the world, so your experience is more immersive than just choosing an option from.
Não vou comentar
the
o
menu of the
facto
game
da
or something like
monetização.
that.
Reason to go to the
É o que é.
Forbidden Forest.
Exactly.
É o mundo em que
There are
vivemos.
many reasons to go to the Forbidden Forest, but he's also wearing the Dark Arts cosmetic set, and here he's pulling out the Thestral,
Outra
which
parte
is
da
part of that
monetização.
Dark Arts pack from the Deluxe and Digital Deluxe Edition. So we're going full Dark Arts here.
Mas é bom saber que eventualmente vamos
But I
poder
like
comprar
this,
esses
Battle
packs
Arena.
para
It is a
quem
great place to
não
show
compra
off,
a edição Deluxe ou
really
digital.
combat in a big way,
Digital
because it
Deluxe.
unlocks some interesting abilities for you.
Tá, é um bocado
allows
escuro,
you
não é?
To really play around with combat in a deep way.
And is this like the only arena like this
North
in the game? where
Hogwarts
you can, like,
region?
practice and
Yeah,
do-
so in the base game we have 2 combat arenas normally. And
Ok.
so everyone has access to those.
Certo?
And each of the combat arenas are an opportunity to kind of just go through a difficult combat challenge, fight through multiple waves, in order to earn a different cosmetic for your character and add that to your collection. In the case of that's no different than the Dark Arts Battle Arena. That's also true. The combat arena.
With the unforgivable curses of Avada Kedavra Imperio
One of the things that
Crucio.
we're excited about in the Dark Arts Battle Arena that people can do is you come in preloaded with different abilities. So the unforgivable curses are something that everyone's going to have access to through the base game and going to be able to earn, and they can make choices in order to kind of like add that.
E
to
os
their
gajos a
repertoire,
esconderem
and they can also
cenas.
commit to that down with certain talents and things like that. When you play the Dark Arts Combat Arena, you actually have access to all those things as kind of like a way to test them all. And so it's a chance to kind of like
Okay.
tour and play with the Dark Arts and decide whether or not that is a path that you kind of want to go down. But yeah, everyone has the same ability to explore the Dark Arts. This is just kind of like a way of previewing.
And again, a great place for us to show off combat in general. So I think we're
Não
gonna
sei se
jump in here. Andrew's going to start battling, and we can start
temos
talking
Imperio,
about
Avada
everything we see on the
Kedavra e
screen.
Crucio, provavelmente.
They just
One hit
the
kill.
cameras right away. Oh my god.
We're starting
Isto é que é
off
com
strong.
Fringo?
Oh my god. Was that Crucio? Oh my
Não,
god.
foi Crucio.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that you'll notice right away, like when we used Avada Kedavra, that guy's health bar went from instant to 0, and we really are trying to honor the way Avada Kedavra works in the game, even in some pretty extreme situations. You'll notice that like the meter takes up a lot longer to
Yeah,
Pois,
kind of
claro,
build
certo.
up as a way
Faz
to kind of
sentido.
deal with its extreme power, just so that it's still fun to use. And then there's some ways that we'll probably talk
Ah,
about
mano.
to adjust that. But I don't know. I don't know if there are things on the screen that
O
you
gajo
have
é
questions
Ravenclaw.
about.
Like I see like little blue things popping from
Yeah.
the enemies. Also, before like that sign, well, it's like so in the
Oi.
community we call it the ancient magic sign. I don't know if that's how it's called
Yeah.
in the
Isto é
game.
Crucio.
So the community is astute. So on
Crucio.
the development side and in player facing in the game, we reference that as your ancient magic meter.
Oh, so it is ancient magic.
That is, yeah. So as your abilities in the game keep growing and you become exposed to some of the secrets about your own kind of mystery and your own abilities.
Era fixe
you
encheres
start
esse como
unlocking new
azul que era
powers. So
para
one of
ver.
those powers, you'll see the R1 button appearing throughout the game.
Aqui, ó.
That's an ancient magic throw, we call it, that allows you to kind of like draw an object to you and fling it at an enemy.
Podes usar isso azul, se faz
But
favor.
whenever you see the R1 or the L1 plus R1 appear over somebody's head, that's an ability to cast a very devastating and powerful ancient magic spell
Oh,
to do
that's
a ton of
Okay.
damage against the character.
I see.
And the way that manifests itself
Bom bloco.
depends on the type of
L1, R1 ali.
and you'll see a wide variety of enemies in here that are pressuring the player in different ways. You'll notice
Avada Kedavra.
there's abilities that kind of bubble up under the player as he's fighting that force him to move. And there's different ways that we want the player to kind of move around on the battlefield. And that's actually a good link to the ancient magic meter in general. And the reason why I say that is because as you're doing different things in combat, you're Cortegoing and doing different abilities, and you can kind of spec into it with your talents. There are different ways to get that meter to build faster and faster. So one of the most effective base ways to build up that meter fast, that way you can launch these devastating attacks whenever you want to, is to actually perform combos. So you see that combo appearing, and it's almost like your emotions are building up, and then basically that builds up enough that you can attack someone. But as the combo meter builds up, at some point you strike someone and a piece of their
Sabem o que é
magic
que me
kind of
parece?
falls
É
out of
claro que eles
them.
estão a
It's
jogar
in
isto
blue
numa
ocean
dificuldade
in the-
mais
in the green
reduzida,
world.
para
And it's
mostrar
another
as
thing
cenas
you
e tudo
see
mais.
in the
Mas eles são
world.
tantos e eu sou só um.
It's another reason to move around on the battlefield. If you can go up and
Eu
collect those
sinto
things and suck them in, they give
que eles
big
deviam,
jumps to that ancient
não é?
meter as we're playing.
Atacar mais, o gajo estar com mais dificuldades, mas provavelmente isso tem a ver com a dificuldade em que ele está a jogar.
Of combat, and that is the tools that you can bring to combat as well to kind of
O gajo quase que ainda não levou dano nenhum.
change the way you play. And I think Mackenzie knows a lot about what's going on with the plants and
Yeah.
potions.
Pois,
And so
precisamente.
the tools are really interesting because they're basically like a prior investment. So you can bring the potions and the plants that you grow in the Room of Requirement to
Ok,
combat
certo.
to essentially kind of help you defeat enemies a lot quicker and more efficiently. So some of the tools that you'll see here are like the rock skin potion. So that is something that basically it covers your skin in this like rocky material that reduces the incoming damage that you're receiving. So against big enemies, hard-hitting enemies like trolls, that's super helpful.
Oh my god, she's just destroying the
Mano, o gajo matou o troll só com uma vada cadáver.
Obviously, we
Não
have
vai
the
haver
Wiccan Will potion as well,
nenhum
which
equivalente.
increases your health. And then we have the focus potion. So when Alan talks about having to balance Avada Kedavra with a long cooldown, because obviously it's an instant kill,
Certo.
one thing that you could do is brew a focus potion, and that will increase how quickly your cooldowns regain.
Ui,
There's just so much like versatility.
Bom bloco.
Like, in what
Bem
the
jogado.
character is doing to the troll right now. Like he's just bouncing around the arena. He's like not, and the troll makes him move around too. Looks like.
And I love that our plants are violent.
Yes, and so that's like when we're talking about the setup of the arena. You also have plants that you can fight with, and so we have things like the venomous tentacula that you can put down, and it acts like a turret, and it just kind of shoots enemies around the battlefield.
That is so cool. This is
isso
like a
cria
true, like,
imenso.
Off-Off
Sim,
ratio, bro.
isso cria
The
imensas
battle.
possibilidades.
Yes.
No, that was super important to us that there were these like multiple ways, and so you can see there's a ton of different things you can use. The mandrake is one, so you can pull it out and it stuns with its like piercing cry these enemies.
Certo, eles já mostraram
in a
isso.
radius.
And another thing I want to call out that we're seeing on the side of the screen here is these dueling feats, which I love because I love anything that prompts me to play a game in a different way, a unique way. I don't want to get stuck in my style, you know. And so this is a way to, if you want to get stuck in your style, go for it. If you
Estás
just
na
wanna
boa,
blast
yeah.
people with spells, go for it. But we also want to
Para a malta
have
experimentar
some
outras coisas,
things
né?
over here that may
Yeah.
make you use
Isso
certain
é fixe.
plants or certain potions or block more or
Yeah, we mentioned the field guide challenges in the prior stream, and the field guide challenges. This is the way that the field guide manifests like challenges for you to do in combat. And exactly to your point, we just wanted a way to encourage players to explore the different systems, to help them decide, to just kind of practice with them and explore what they want to be, because there really are so many different ways that you can push talents.
Oh,
You see
petrificou
the
total.
green X's on characters,
Right.
and that's kind of through your talents you can unlock this kind of cursing mechanic that sort of like links the fates of these different characters on the battlefield. That way, as you get as you're cursing different characters, they all begin sharing damage, and so we have things like Avada Kedavra, which is the insta-kill, but if you curse everyone before you insta-kill this one guy, they can all drop dead for that kind of ultimate.
Bro, isso é incrível! Combo
Oh
incrível!
my god.
There are dark arts fantasies. There's fantasies about being more of a defense against the dark arts characters, things like that misty step that you see occasionally being used on the battlefield. And we can also spec into our potions and plants to make them more powerful and more efficacious. So it's
Wow.
all about which type of player you feel like you are and whether or not you want to play with prep, on the fly, or with deliberation, and those are all different options.
That is so cool because like it's like I see so much like.
É,
going
tá a
on
acontecer
the
imenso
system
na tela,
like this,
sim.
And I want to just try it myself, like which style works best. I mean, I
Return
feel
to
like
Highlands,
dark
vamos
arts
à
is
zona.
so hard, but I-
You're
that
our
ancient
audience.
magic
Vamos à Room of
feels like
Requirement.
much more powerful than
Bota, já
dark
chega de
arts,
combate.
Yeah.
to be fair.
And speaking of plants and potions, we are going to be putting the dark arts
Precisamente.
away, put those unforgivable
Oh.
curses away. and heading to the Room of Requirement, which is your home within Hogwarts, a personalizable space that actually has some utility as well, where you get to brew things and grow things and also care for some
Qualidade
bees.
péssima.
All right, Andrew's got us in the Room of Requirement, wearing, we kind of went casual mode on the outfit here, wearing a nice jumper.
Ok,
And I
vamos.
think that's a good jumping off point for the personalization of the
Piadolas.
space as well. Not just your character and the visuals of your character, but actually this space is a place that you can make your own.
Yeah, it was super important to us that this space really did feel like your reflection as a wizard. So you can change the architecture in here.
What?
Hã?
Different themes throughout, starkly different themes, to really just hammer home that this is yours. You
Oh
can
my
change-
God! What? This is beautiful. We never expected that to be. Oh my God.
That's the thing, is not only can you change the architecture here, but you can actually conjure little objects into this space, as you can see. So there's like statues that you can do, and ornaments, and tables, and rugs, and just a bunch of little
Bro.
things that really flesh out the space and bring it to life.
Oh my goodness, because like we had an idea that those places where you brew stuff, that's where you can change, but you can do all of this. Where do you even get this stuff? Like, there's a furniture store?
Yeah, so we call them conjurations. And the conjuration recipes can be purchased at Tomes and Scrolls in Hogsmeade. But also, as you engage in different types of gameplay throughout the world, you'll be rewarded with different objects.
That's so cool. And you change color?
You can change the color, you can change the size of it, and you can place it basically anywhere.
Oh my God, it's so tiny.
Isto
Just
vai.
like from Baby Niffler.
And I love how the
Olha o gajo a
system here is
rir-se.
designed. It's not mechanical, it's immersive. And so you get the magical effect of conjuring it in.
Isto vai dar para
You're-
fazer
you're-
imensa
You're
coisa.
actually doing this in the world as your character, but the way you've blended like that gameplay with the immersive design of personalizing
Oh
the
my
space.
God, like, and I love the animation. How
Nenhuma
it,
vai
like,
ser igual à
appears,
outra.
You know, like it's not just like there. It's like it almost like it apparates.
It is really quite beautiful, and that was the thing, is we wanted that to look really nice, because the magic in the wizarding world is everywhere. It's physical, it's kinetic, and it's
Eu
whimsical.
espero que eles não
So we
tenham
really wanted to nail that whimsy.
gasto
in this
demasiado
space.
tempo nisto
Another thing that I wanted to discuss is that not only can you like conjure things
e
and
descurar do
change
resto do jogo.
their look, but you can do that with the utility objects as well. So you can see that we have
Que
planting
isto é uma
pots
gimmick,
and
né?
potion stations, and you can change the look of those.
Tudo bem
as
que isto
well.
vão ser coisas
And
precisas
these
para a
are the
nossa
areas
aventura,
where,
mas.
as we mentioned previously, you'll be growing your plants, you'll be brewing your potions.
Certo, precisamente.
Right.
So while you're also doing these like kind of nurturing based activities, this is also the space where you would bring your gear to be identified, and gear to have like rates put on it, which I believe Alan can talk to.
Oh.
Yeah, we keep bringing up appearance and how it looks, and on a, like in the game, you can look like anything you want to whenever you want to. But the player will be finding different types of gear, that we call it, as you progress through the game. And essentially, we just know that clothes and different items in the wizarding world can have different magical properties. And as you explore and as you adventure and as you defeat enemies, you're going to be finding different pieces of gear that have different abilities, and that can help you in your journey and are a major part of you kind of growing as a wizard and advancing as a wizard. And so
There's a huge list.
Para
not
as
all the
luvas,
time,
mano.
whenever you get a new piece of gear, you don't necessarily know exactly what it does. And so there is a station inside of the Room of Requirement that you can conjure. It's one of the first things you conjure, called an identification station, where you can actually bring that gear that you're uncertain about and learn what its abilities are.
Mano, estou
Right,
hyped.
yeah, that's so cool.
And then
Estou
as the space advances
hyped.
even further, and the space will eventually
Fim do
go from
jogo,
rooms,
estou
and you're
hyped.
gonna get
Vou comprar
new
amanhã.
recipes, you know, like Mackenzie's talking about. All things keep expanding, and as it expands, eventually you're going to earn what we see here, which is called a loom. And when you set up a loom, it's an ability to essentially customize exactly which magical properties are on your gear, and take any piece of gear and adjust its properties and to tweak what it does. And I mentioned earlier that you can make anything look like anything. The collection of appearances, we call it, or cosmetics, we've been referring to it in this stream. those types of things you can use, and you can apply a look to any other look. So if you get a piece of gear, you put it on, you look like that, but you can change it to look like whatever you want.
That's so cool. And like you can just put some ability to the sweater, but then you can just swap
Yeah.
that ability.
Yep, and appearances you can edit whenever you want in the gear screen. The loom is specifically about applying
Yeah.
traits and
Okay.
and applying larger upgrades that just kind of grant you greater statistical advantage or give you really specific abilities that blend in nicely with where you're trying to go with your combat fantasy or talents and things like that.
Interesting. I'm just seeing that they're just like pumpkin fur, mooncalf fur. Where does that come from?
Yeah, and so you'll notice that the ingredients that are used to add traits and to upgrade your gear are based around beasts. So this is where we get into the beast care section, which is inside this vivario.
Oh.
Kind of bigger space on the inside idea. And so you can see here we have a couple of beasts out. We have a graphorn and a mooncalf and a niffler and a neasel as well. So
Oh my
quite a
God.
variety.
Mais fêmea, vamos.
Like a big puppy.
They're
I
so
love their
cute.
cuddling. I know. Oh my God, they're together. Oh, that's so cute.
They're adorable. And so part of beast care is petting them as well, but feeding them too. And so once you do those things, that's when they feel safe enough that they'll give you their magical ingredients. So mooncalf fur, niffler
incrível,
fur, etc.
velho.
That can then be used in your gear.
That is like so like intuitive because like you know that makes sense because when you touch
Olha
the
o
animal, you
niffler.
get some fur leftovers. That's so. Oh my God.
Yeah, and we really want to hammer home the fact that this is like a home that you're making for them.
Olha,
So
não quero.
in the overland, you can find these beast dens and rescue these beasts. Part of doing so is
Oi,
crushing
não me
them
roubes.
and feeding them
Dá-me isso.
food as well, and to build that relationship with your beasts. In addition to be able to care for beasts, you can actually conjure things in this space as well.
The house, the cottage.
Yeah, right. And so we have like a lot of little ornaments in this area, and a lot of them are purely cosmetic, but they look really cool. Again, it's the personalization of this space.
Oh my goodness. No,
Nossa.
this is like I'm gonna spend 8 hours just designing this whole area to personalize. This is like cool. It's like you have this little play area, like a personalized fish tank, so to say.
Sabem que quando isto sair, o canal vai ser só isto. Lamento
no,
imenso
totally.
informar.
And there's like a decoration aspect, but there's also, we were saying inside as well, is there's a utility aspect to it too. So as you progress in the game and you're able to purchase more conjurations, you're able to speed up your process.
Despensaram em
So one of
tudo,
them,
velho.
for example, is the food processor, which allows for the beast in the space to automatically get feed, so you don't have to do it manually. And so you're
Mano, eles
really
pensaram em tudo.
building the progression for yourself here. In addition, there's also a toy box where you,
Oh,
where you
that's
can play with your beasts. You'll see here, yeah. So you can.
Mano, jogo do
there's a
ano.
bunch of
Como
toys
assim
in it,
não?
and each beast has their own favorite toy. So as you can imagine, the mooncalf really likes the moon ball, or the neasel, as like a little cat, really likes to chase the yarn ball as well.
Right.
And they're
Oh,
super
wow.
cute.
Oh my God.
Onde é que está o bicho que gosta disto? Olha lá bem ele. Olha lá bem ele, olha lá bem ele.
The big thing we really wanted to hammer home is that the world is a dangerous place. And so by going and rescuing these beasts and bringing them back here and caring for them, you're really helping them out. There's poachers in the overland who hunt these beasts for their material. So instead, you're caring for them. You're giving them a home.
Right. Oh my God, this rap
Mano,
is just gigantic.
Estou muito mais entusiasmado hoje do que fiquei na última showcase.
You could actually name them as well. So like your dog.
Ah, ótimo.
So
Yeah.
getting back into that personalization, you know, yeah, we didn't want you to just like throw in. Oh,
Ah,
here's
está a
the
jogar numa
graph
PlayStation
one in here,
5,
like,
velho.
This can be named whatever Andrew's about to name.
Claro que
them.
está a jogar numa PlayStation 5,
Bruce.
obviamente.
The
A
good
PlayStation
name.
tem os direitos de.
You know,
the marketing.
we've created this really nice space, and you can get additional vivariums, correct? To different kind of aesthetics and looks to where you're.
Só não estou a gostar é desta qualidade de bosta que vou ter
Progression
depois
is
no
a
meu
big part
vídeo
of this
final,
space
mas
as well.
pronto.
So, as you progress through the story, you will unlock more vivariums.
tem
So as
HDI
you can
já.
see, this one's quite meadow themed, big, open, bright. But there's other ones, say like a swamp that you might encounter, and it's really a visual effect to and more space for your beast.
Oh, so it's like those. So when we're inside the room requirement, there's like on the left there's that moon glow from one entrance and then some shrubbery going on in the right. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Ah, oh, you put trees in here too. Oh my goodness.
And another thing with the beast care that I think is great, tying back to this same kind of thing that you did with like the broom, where the broom is not just a method of travel, it's actually built in and integrated into the world. In the same way, like beast care isn't just this added element. You're not just throwing it on top. There's really this like narrative and integration to
Yeah, everything
Everything.
connects. So as you progress through the mission,
É bom que sim. É bom que tudo fique ligado.
As you earn resources, you'll go into Hogsmeade and use them to unlock the gameplay here and unlock new conjurations and different things to play around with. In the open world, it's in those different environments, like the different combat and conflicts and
Gigante.
bandit camps and different things like that exist in the Overland. Those things are what hold recipes that exist in the loom. So all these things have a way of connecting. Moonstone that you find out in the world is the resource that we use to conjure everything. That's found throughout the world. Forgeables are used for recipes. So really everything's like a cycle and keeps you coming back.
But even with the story that's being told too, I think people know who Poppy is and that she has a particular affinity for beasts.
Yeah, I think everything we're seeing here, you're going to be venturing out into the world, and this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, even of kind of like your interactions with beasts in that narrative. So, you bringing up Poppy, there are more kind of mysteries to discover and things to discover out in the world that have to do with her and that have to do with caring for beasts. And so different characters have their own stuff that just kind of make this all just kind of like the beginning of your journey.
Que é grande árvore.
Well,
Vamos
we could spend
embora.
hours in here, but we're gonna have to end the stream now. What do you think about what you've seen today?
I mean,
Estou
this is-
abesbílico.
so blown away by how beautiful it looks. The open world seems so detailed, and there's so many things to do. And like the combat, we're gonna spend like 2 weeks or more just breaking it down by pieces. There's just so much to this world. Like I'm so happy you guys did this overall gameplay.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got more for you to discover and find on your own. Thank you so much
Não
for being
fizeram
here.
nenhuma
Thank you for
remark
watching.
acerca do
Hogwarts Legacy
adiamento.
is available
Claro,
for
se calhar na
pre-order
altura em
now.
que gravaram
Released
isto.
February 10th with 72-hour early access for owners of the Collector's, Deluxe, and Digital
Eu.
Deluxe Edition.
Eu.
We're gonna wrap things up, but first we've got a little surprise for you. Bye.
Uma surpresa. Que Onde é que nós estamos? Mano, eu sou muito burro, eu não percebi o que era aquilo. E acabou. 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 Malta. Está feito. As primeiras impressões estão... Primeiras? Segundas? Estou abesbílico, velho. Foi ótimo, não foi? Agora só temos que esperar. Aí, mano, quando eles mostram aqui... Sei lá, eu vou conseguir puxar isto para trás.
And allows you to
Eles falam do combo do Avada
We're gonna
Kedavra.
really go, a lot more of a deep
Agora já tem alta
When you see
definição,
the-
né?
The green X
Swap
Yeah.
that a bit.
Agora a qualidade está muito melhor, não
area.
percebo
So as
porquê.
you can see, this one's quite meadow themed.
You're going to be venturing out into the world, and this is just kind of the
Malta,
tip of the iceberg.
eu não sei mais o
Even
que
though-
dizer. Estou super hyped. Eu não faço isto normalmente, não é? Portanto, olha, não me deem muito weight. É a minha primeira experiência a fazer um react de um jogo que me vai ser muito querido, certamente. Portanto, é isso. Olhem, muito obrigado. Passem no Hogwarts Legacy Gameplay Showcase número 2 e vejam por vocês, tirem as vossas conclusões. E eu vou ficar aqui, sentadinho, à espera. Tá bem? Um abraço. Até ao próximo vídeo.